So it's Thursday, 22nd of October, and today we are going to visit Liege Airport. And why do we visit Liege Airport for a European Silk Road Summit? Well, we figured that it's nice to hear something from the airport as well, because they're always competing a little bit, this rail and air. So we want to see what rail means for air freight and what air freight means for rail. I'm about to meet with Bert and with Dongqing, and both gentlemen are working for Liege Airport. And they would actually be speakers of the European Silk Road Summit, but of course we couldn't invite all the speakers to the summit, so we are visiting them today. Let's have a look. Well, Bert, we're sitting in your office here at the Liege Airport. Why is Liege such an important place in the logistics chain?
It has some history. Liege actually is an old industrial city. It didn't have air freight, but for decades has been a center for rail freight, for ocean freight, or at least via the river going to the ocean, and in road transportation. So in the 80s, when the steel industry went down, there was a big reconversion program of the city and of the industry. And at that moment, they used an old military airport to complement their logistics capacities, which are already there. And so this airport came to life to actually be part of the bigger logistics that was already here. And it became a trigger to convert the city and to become again a city which is on the map and got out of this difficult period from the steel decline.
Yeah, and how is that balanced now between air and other modalities, rail and?
Recently, the airport has got a lot of attention and a lot of wind in the back to grow really fast. Even to the extent that some things which were triggered by the airports, like the China business, now are being spread over the logistics platform of Liege into the rail, into the container business. So it became a trigger for the rest to evolve with us.
Yeah. So would you say that there is a good cooperation between all these modalities?
Yeah. So there's the port of Liege, which is the third biggest inland port in Europe, and so with them we have a constant cooperation with the operators who do the rail platform or do the container terminals. We're working together, yes.
Yeah, so there's not that fierce competition as everybody else is noticing on the market.
No, not at all. And for us, maybe we're a special case because at the airport we have this rail terminal. So we really integrate it into what we are. We present ourselves to people like we're not an airport anymore. We're a logistics platform, and we have runways. We have a rail station. So we combine, and I think that's pretty unique, and that's why the cooperation is so smooth. The type of products which are in rail or ocean, it's different type of products. So it's the evolution of the market where it's going that defines how fast they're taking in more of our products.
Yeah. Can you name some of those products that are typically on a plane?
For the China business, of course, there's a lot of e-commerce and there's a lot of products which are big mass consumption, like technology. What we have from other markets is perishable products like flowers and fish and vegetables. You have the animal transport, which is really important.
You have what kind of animals?
A lot of horses, a lot of cows that are transported
by plane.
By plane.
Wow.
Yes, the horses are more expensive horses that are used for competitions, etc. The cows, they're used for humanitarian projects. So a cow is giving signs or hope and life to some villages which need it. Then there's the automotive, a lot of parts, machinery, etc. So it's a wide variety. And the last is the health-related products, pharmaceuticals. Recently, of course, the masks have all been transported by air. So it's a wide variety. Yeah. But it must be high-value products. Some of our products who used to be in the air has now moved to train from China. But that's mainly triggered by the prices of the air freight than something else. the air freight is getting more expensive, and at a certain moment the price is too much for some products, so they will move to the rail. If this price drops again, they might come back. So it's a balancing game. However, I think structurally the rail is the right solution. There's two types of rail. You have the intercontinental, when I talk about the China train, that has now a mature market. A few years ago it wasn't. Nowadays it's a trustable solution. However, the rail solution within Europe is still, according to our feeling and our customers, not up to the point that it could attract more volumes.
And why? What needs to happen?
The time and the reliability or the predictability of the service.
Yeah. And why would you say that it's the right solution then?
Because of the environmental impact. It's part of the reason why we treasure the fact that we have this rail port. It's really important, and we're part of making this modal shift, but we're just a piece of the puzzle, and the consumption model we all define together is the real trigger.
But if you say the real or right solution, does that mean that on the long term, or ideally, everything should be on the train, because that would leave these airplanes empty?
I don't believe air freight will reduce. I believe that rail freight is increasing, but no, I don't see product moving out of aircraft.
No. That will always be there.
It will always be there, but in general, consumption is growing, or transport is growing. So I think the rail will have more opportunities in the future, but I don't see air reducing.
Air freight has always been a successful transport mode for cargo. What are the strengths and what are the weaknesses of this particular modality?
I think we should look at what kind of cargo are being transported between Europe and China, and especially during the pandemic period, a lot of PPE shipments were transported. Also, high value cargo, temperature sensitive cargo, and time sensitive cargo. So for this type of cargo, we see air transport is like a must.
We saw during the pandemic that it was especially in air freight that the prices went up. Why do you think that it was this sector and not in other sectors?
Yeah, because you have to see the passenger flight has been grounded, most of the passenger flights. And the passenger flight used to take about 50% of all the cargo transported. So now all the pressure are going to the cargo flight. And this only 8% of all the flights are cargo flights, and now they have to transport all the 100% cargos. So that's why the price goes up so fast.
How do you look at the increasing role of rail freight?
Well, like we discussed during the pandemic periods, when the price is too high for the air cargo and it's completely full, so of course the cargo will shift to another module, which for the rail, for example, it's very steady and good way of transportation. So I think it provides the flexibility and a good alternative compared with the air freight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see it as a competition?
No, not really. And actually, we are working as a platform, so we offer both air freight and also the terminal, which is very close to the Liege airport, is offering the rail freight service. And within the same location, same warehouse, our logistics partner, they can handle both type of the cargo within the same customs zone. So we see it's actually alternative and more flexible option. So definitely no competition to us.
But I'm trying to visualize this office with the operators sitting next to each other, some handling rail, some handling air freight. Isn't there this competition among these people that they're all trying to attract the customer for themselves?
No, I think some customers or service providers, they handle both shipment. So in the same warehouse, they can do both. And for the agents, they serve also, if you import air cargo or cargo from the rail, it's the same way of doing customs, same way of doing the last mile. So there actually is not that big difference.
No.
Yeah.
So the customer comes to you, decides what they want, and then...
Well, the decision of choosing air or the rail is really by the nature of the cargo. As I mentioned, the temperature, demand, the value, and these are the major reason which way the cargo will go. And of course, customer will choose, and then everything is driven by the market.
And how do you assure that all parties get an equal slice of the pie?
Yeah, well, we definitely see the markets growing. The cargo exchange between continents are really growing more and more. So, and with the passenger flights still not coming back, we will have enough cargo, and I think both sectors will have more jobs and more volume, and this we don't worry, and we are very confident that we will all have a bigger pie.
So it was interesting to see how RailFreight and RailFreight are actually working together on this same area, and logistics operators trying to share the ever-growing logistics pie. It was interesting for us to see how everything works. I think it was a nice story, and let's go back to Rotterdam.